Bread is our life. Now in the war we realized even more how important the smell of fresh bread is. My name is Andriy Vasilenko and I'm director of Zeelandia in Ukraine, a company producing bakery ingredients and supplying it already for more than 20 years in Ukraine.
I have been doing this work since I was 18 years old. I really love baking bread. Our business keeps working despite constant shelling, air raid alerts, and power outages. We continue to work. We do not stop.
This is my life now. I can't imagine life without the bakery anymore.
Well, now as probably never before, people need hope. And what I saw also when we were given the bread in the occupied territories, when people didn't see fresh bread for 1 or 2 months, fresh bread was given hope. Fresh bread was indicating of a normal life. Bread was always important for Ukrainians. I think it's part of our DNA, but especially now in the war, bread became a symbol of hope and symbol also of peace.
When we opened the bakery in Mariinka, Donetsk region in 2016, someone said, "Smells like bread. Life is coming back."
Our charity organization Perspektyva 21.3 has core mission to provide high-quality social services for people with mental disabilities, to help them work, grow, and live life with dignity. Also, with our core programs, we have the humanitarian programs, such as Bake4Ukraine, where we can help to the producer of bakery, to the families, and to the community.
Well, actually, Bake4Ukraine started as our response to beginning of the war. In the town where we live, bread disappeared from the shops in the first hours of the war and the logistic routes were broken. And because we had a bakery and we had also bakery ingredients, we called for volunteers to support us in producing fresh bread and distributing it to people here in the town. Later, we spread this initiative also on neighboring villages. Quite soon, we realized that giving fresh bread baked far away doesn't make much sense. It is inexpensive and it's not fresh anymore if you bring it in 2 days after baking. So we decided to support small bakeries which were working on territories near the front line or those which were deoccupied. What was also important that big bakeries, they became big targets and they were easily destroyed by big aviation bombs or missiles. So our initiative was directed mainly on small family businesses which struggled financially often, but which were producing bread even in the times when all the logistic routes were broken, even in times when there was no yeast, even in a time when there was no electricity. People kept on producing bread and supplying it to their small communities, sometimes a village, sometimes several villages. But we also tried to help other bigger bakeries which were suffering from attacks of Russian, which lost some of the equipment or buildings.
Please come in. This is where freshly baked bread used to be placed on the shelves. All of this was working before, but now none of it works. I moved to this village, my daughter was born, and I started working at this enterprise. Later, I set a goal and bought this business. It took us 25 years to launch this enterprise and make it work, to buy it, to restore everything, and to get it running. Now, I don't know how much time it will take to rebuild it again. The warehouses, the mill, the bakery, everything was in good condition. But after our neighbors attacked us, everything was destroyed. We helped people. We processed sunflower seeds, milled flour, and baked bread. Now we can no longer do any of this. We don't have the strength or the resources, but we hope this will end. We hope to return to peaceful life, to a time when we could work and live normally. We will do it again because we have no other choice.
300 hectares of wheat were burned and destroyed in our fields. All the fields around our village were mined. Men, together with local residents, went to demine the fields themselves. It was very dangerous. But they succeeded. The fields were cleared, sown again, and bread is being grown here once more.
And you hear many of those stories. Sometimes it's even overwhelming, and sometimes it's even too much to understand it, to take it too close to heart. So sometimes it's really important to go there, and after that to remember what price people are paying for daily bread nowadays in Ukraine.
At the beginning of the full-scale invasion, Koryukivka was under blockade, and people simply had no way to buy bread. I realized that this work was truly important because there was a real need. People want to live. Life goes on. For me, the bakery is everything right now.
When the tanks started moving on February 23rd, it became clear that the war had begun. All the employees said one thing: we keep working. We started working 24/7. During the occupation, we baked up to 6,000 loaves of bread a day. 3,000 of them we gave away for free. We didn't close even for a single hour. Even when there were no workers, my wife Olha and I went out and worked ourselves. It was very scary then. When there was a long line and you understood that there might not be enough bread for everyone, the situation was so critical that people came to my home asking for bread. It was almost free. There was no opportunity to make money at that time. Everything became more expensive, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we earned almost nothing. Now we simply want to continue working.
It's very interesting to see that some bakeries, they were already for many years working. We helped other families which started during the war and had no idea on how to make bread. But I think what is uniting them all, that's love to people and also love to what they are doing. Love to the bread as really as a living, almost living creation. When the bread is rising, when it is growing, when it is baked, when it is changing the shape, the color. And these are people who really love other people. But also this is passion for their profession, and that's what I like to see, even in those who started it just half a year ago. But as soon as they're involved in the bakery business, they become the bakers in their heart before they are bakers in their hands.
Literally in one evening, we decided to try. One oven, one dough mixer, no transport. My wife Olha was baking, and I was carrying the bread by hand to a local shop to sell it. The first bread may not have been perfect, but it was very fragrant. It was ours. I still remember the smell of that bread. I remember the crust. I remember the feeling that it was something new, something fresh. These are memories that will probably stay with me for a very long time. At the beginning of the full-scale invasion, our building was damaged. There was a hole in the roof from fragments of a guided aerial bomb. The vehicles we used to deliver our products around the city were also damaged. But we repaired everything: the vehicles, the roof, and we kept working.
Our production also directly supports our soldiers. We bake bread, buns, and even cakes for them. They really like it.
As people say, made with love. Love is what this world lacks the most. Love is the language that is missing. And this is our way of showing love. Maybe small, but sincere.
I think one of the most surprising for me was how people respond to the idea of helping the bakers, especially people from far away. People who've never been to Ukraine, who never saw the bakeries which we support, and maybe will never see them, because some of the bakeries, unfortunately, they are already destroyed even after we supported them. What touched me quite a lot, that people from other countries speaking completely other language, but actually responding to the needs of their colleagues in Ukraine. So the same bakers in Great Britain, in the Netherlands, in Poland, Germany. They were responding and sending the equipment, and sometimes this equipment obviously was also working for 10, 20, 30 years somewhere in Belgium or somewhere east of Germany. And then this equipment comes to Ukraine, gets new life, and is again serving people.
Here I want to introduce you to André. He came all the way from Belgium, and the special thing about him is that he has no any connection to Ukraine, also not to Zeelandia, but he just saw our Bake4Ukraine action on the Facebook, and he decided that he can do something. So he collected all this equipment in small Belgian bakeries, took it on a truck, and this equipment we will give to different bakeries in Ukraine. We will inspect it, repair when needed, and this equipment will keep on serving to the different bakeries.
Bake4Ukraine is special because it brings people together. Bakery businesses from abroad, Ukrainian businesses that suffered during the war, charitable organizations and local teams joined their efforts for one common goal. By working together, we are able to deliver delivery equipment, share practical knowledge, and support people who are rebuilding their work and lives in difficult times. And most importantly, to share bread with those who need it most.
When Ukraine has enough, we will be able to share with other countries as well. Before the war, we had big plans. Now they are even bigger. And this is possible only thanks to volunteers and everyone who supports us. We are grateful that people notice us. We will recover. We will bloom again. And Ukraine will bloom as well.
I'm dreaming about the time when every small village will have a bakery, and that every small village in Ukraine will know this baker, and that this bread will be special in every village. But of course, we are dreaming about the peaceful time when this all is behind us, and when we will speak about that as to the stories which we all passed, and that all those bakers which we support, that they will be able to tell these stories to their children and grandchildren, so that atrocity which we are going now through will never repeat. And actually, I would like that people will value also through this video and other materials which we are trying to make, that people all over the world will value much more the piece of freshly baked bread, understand the value and the price which is sometimes paid to make this bread.